Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Education. Is she satisfied that the proposed creation of new executive principal and expert teacher positions has the support and confidence of school teachers and principals? If so, why?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, yes, because when I visit schools every week they tell me so. They tell me so at airports and on planes, at events and in communications to me and to my office. Because the evidence in New Zealand and internationally affirms this direction, including the critical acclaim it got from experts at the International Summit on the Teaching Profession 2 weeks ago. But, Mr. Speaker, there is lots more work to do.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What evidence did she rely on when determining that a successful school principal could be removed from their school for 2 days a week without that having an impact on the success of their own school?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, the policy intent and parameters are set out in the Cabinet paper that was made publicly available the day we announced that investment. We also announced that a working group would be put together to work through the details, including the specifics around the appointment of executive principals. The evidence supports the direction of explicating excellence across career pathways, distinguishing between executive principals and principals. Perhaps I should explain, differentiating excellence.
Point of order, Chris Hipkins.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. I wasn't asking...
Order. I know the point the member is going to raise. On this occasion, I think the question has been addressed, but I can understand why the member is not satisfied. I will allow the member an additional supplementary question. Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What evidence did she rely on when determining that a successful school principal could be removed from their school for 2 days a week without that having an impact on the success of their own school?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, the first thing to answer is those decisions haven't been finalised yet because we're consulting with a working group from the sector. The second answer to that is because we already have the situation in New Zealand where principals contribute to the system beyond their school and are out of their school for the periods that requires.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Will the principal of a school that is being overseen by an executive principal be primarily responsible to the executive principal or to their school's board of trustees?
Honourable Hikia Parata.
Mr. Speaker, the proposal is actually for the executive principal to be focused on an achievement challenge or a set of achievement challenges across the community of schools. It is not proposed that it's a hierarchical position to which the existing principals report.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Order. If the member is raising as to whether that's been addressed on this occasion, it has been.
All right, well, I'll move on to the next one. Supplementary
Chris
question
Hipkins.
then. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, will a principal of a school that is the subject of an executive principal be primarily responsible to the executive principal or to their school's board of trustees?
Mr. Speaker, as I've already indicated, principals of existing schools will retain their accountability to their Board of Trustees. The proposal for the new roles is to work on achievement challenges across a community of schools. It will not and is not proposed to displace the existing employment relationships.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Will the executive principals remain primarily accountable to the Board of Trustees of the school that employs them? If not, to whom will they be accountable?
Honourable Hikia
Mr.
Parata.
Speaker, subject again to the caveat that we are continuing to work with the working group on the design details of this policy because we are consulting. It is expected that a group of those boards of trustees of the community of schools will be the authority to whom the executive principal reports.
Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Chris Hipkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will school boards of trustees have the final say on whether or not their school is placed under the oversight of an executive principal? If not, what role will that board of trustees have in that decision?
Honourable Hipkins.
Mr Speaker, for the third time, it is not proposed that schools be placed under the oversight of the executive principal.
Order. Question number 12, Gareth Hughes.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Energy and Resources and asks